Hey guys, it's Luke here and welcome back to another video. You join me today with my MK7 Golf R back here at Regal Autosport. Now, you guys may have seen a recent video on the channel where I did my first track day of the year, speaking about some of my plans with this car for this year. Now, the main part of that video was talking about the interior, and today we're going to be starting the interior mods. Not the complete interior overhaul with the usual bucket seats, roll cage, that kind of thing, but some nice little touches which will tie in really nicely once the full interior is built. Like I mentioned, we're here today at Regal. We're going to be fitting an awesome Cooler Works shifter in this thing. I've always loved these things. They look so cool. They completely transform the interior of any car. So I think it's going to be a worthy addition to this thing. And so I'm very, very excited. In usual fashion, we'll head on inside, catch up with Ash, and then yeah, get the car inside and get to work. Okay, so we're joined once again with Ash from Regal.
Hi guys.
We've got the shifter ready to go on the car. This
certainly do.
Looks awesome. I think it was your idea actually to do this.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best upgrades you can do on a manual car, especially if you're using it for track days and things like that. Obviously you've done the diff, you've done all the power upgrades, all that kind of stuff, but that's what's missing really, because obviously the standard shifters, not ideal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a bit far away from the steering wheel, I suppose, as well. And
exactly.
This been mounted a lot higher. Yeah, it's just.
It's obviously when you're doing your gear changes and stuff like that. Obviously with the standard shifter, it's quite short. Yeah. So this one, just raises it up a bit further. So when you're actually steering, you don't have to move your hands quite as far as away.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks cool as well.
Yeah, it looks absolutely sick.
Look at that. So it's a Cooler Works shifter, all exposed. Of course, all finished in black as well. What's the installation like on it? Is it fairly straightforward?
Yeah, it's something you could do at home. Yeah. If you had like a whole day on the weekend, something like that. Yeah. Here it's probably about 3-4 hours, something like that, and then a little bit of setup time to make sure the shifting's all nice. Yeah. Because with this shifter, so usually with short shifters, it just reduces like the throw, so the backwards and forwards movement. Whereas with this, it makes the whole pattern a lot smaller. So your left to right movement, as well as front and back, is a lot smaller. Okay. Which sounds like it might be a bit of a nightmare to shift, but I've driven cars with these with like heavy clutches and in traffic with these on, and it's probably easier to drive in the standard one because you get so much more feel. Okay, interesting. Might miss a few shifts first off then before I get used to it. Awesome. Well, I'm very excited to see what this thing is looking like once it's all done. And we've got a couple of other little bits going on later on in the video, mainly a steering wheel, little bits like that. But Cooler Works shifter going on the car. I think we'll get the car in and get started. Yeah, let's crack on. Let's do it. Now, unfortunately, by the time I did actually end up leaving Regal, it was dark, and I'll be completely honest, it's now quite a little bit later, actually a couple of months later, since when we actually had the Cooler Works fitted. Sometimes things with YouTube just don't go to plan, and I've been so busy that actually I haven't had time to get the remaining bits fitted to the car, which is where we're heading today. But this is epic. Now, I actually had to daily drive this car pretty much from when this shifter was fitted, only up until recently when I bought my E92 M3. So I've done a good 4,000 to 5,000 miles since this was fitted. It is absolutely epic. You think that it's such a track-focused modification, which yes, it is the intention, but it's so easy to drive. This car has an extremely heavy clutch, as you'd expect, trying to run 500 horsepower through a manual. But the throws with the Cooler Works, they're just so much cleaner, so much more satisfying actually, and it just makes it so easy to just go through the gears.
It's an absolute joy to drive this car, it really, really is. But yeah, the cooler works, an awesome addition to the interior of this car. I couldn't just leave the standard shifter in place. That would just be criminal. And I am going to get like a blanking plate for in here, just because you do get quite a bit of road noise through there. I say that, but road noise really isn't going to be an issue when the interior is all stripped out, but that is besides the point. It's also a little bit closer to the steering wheel as well, so you don't have to move your hand so far to reach the gear stick when you're kind of trying to shift the gears. But yeah, absolutely epic. Love it. Absolutely love it. But yeah, today we're actually heading up to AutoID. Now, I briefly mentioned earlier on in the video that the second part of this is actually to do with the steering wheel. Now, the OEM wheel on this is, well, it's 90,000 miles old. It's pretty tired and pretty boring, really. So yeah, we're going to freshen it up. Now, what we've done essentially is a bit of a special order with the guys from AutoID. So we'll show you the wheel obviously before it gets fitted when I get to HQ. But yeah, really looking forward to that, because the steering wheel completely transforms the interior of a car. And like I said, we did do something pretty special for this, so it'll be interesting to see how it turns out. So yeah, essentially the first few modifications to the interior of this car is the cooler works and a nice new steering wheel. So we've got about a 2-hour drive up to AutoID and catch up with the guys there. Jack, I think, is there. Catch up with him and then get the new wheel fitted, and yeah, go from there. But yeah, this video has been a little bit all over the place. That's just sometimes how things go. Anyway, one final little blip. It just picks up speed so quick. Anyway, 2-hour trip. Let's head to AutoID, catch up with the guys, and get this new wheel fitted. Okay, fast forward a little while. We are now here at AutoID, and the car has already made its way into the workshop. Now, back here we have Jack from AutoID. Good to see you, buddy.
Mate. Yeah, good to see you, mate.
We have, yeah, very good, very good. We have a new wheel today.
We do, yes.
At last.
Finally, mate.
This
very much
looks very cool. Now, I mentioned on the way up, we've done something a little bit special with this, because when people kind of do aftermarket wheels, they tend to go a little bit mad, which is cool, but we've kind of tried to keep it a little bit tamed.
Yeah, I think VW themselves were going to make an R wheel that had an LED module in it.
Yeah.
This is how it would look.
Yeah,
that's probably the best way of explaining it.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, you've got the Alcantara around the outside, the LED module on the top, which obviously show your revs, but it will show like oil temps and other bits and bobs
on the little screen in the middle.
And you'll be able to control that through buttons on the steering wheel, and there's some buttons on here as well that you can skip through. But then you've also got this really nice blue detail stitching, which runs in with the position of the car as well.
Yeah,
so,
exactly that.
Yeah, mate, this is going to look wicked when it's on, and obviously you've got a load of other stuff that you're doing to the car, so once it all comes together, it's going to look...
Definitely, that's it. But on my previous Golf R, I did do an aftermarket wheel as well, but I opted for one which is like all completely reshaped. Which does look cool, but with this being a little bit of a track car, I didn't want to get a confusing wheel, basically. No,
definitely not. I think you've gone the... I'm similar to you.
Yeah.
I quite like stuff simple. So like with the 240, I think I'll probably do something very similar to this, because I like to keep things clean.
Yeah.
I know some people go down the route of carbon and stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's up to them. That's not me.
But to be fair as well, like I've never had an LED wheel, which I've always wanted to do. Did want to do it for the M140, but I thought with this, why not?
Have you seen them in the flesh yet?
Yeah. I've been in some cars with them in, but I've never driven a car with the LED kind of strip at the top.
You'll have to have a go in Nathan's Super at some point, because
definitely
that does have it.
Definitely.
So,
well, once it's all fitted, I'll have a little first drive with this.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I presume it's just a case of swapping the old one with the new one. Actually, I think the process is already underway. But yeah, I'm really excited for this, because obviously we've got the short shifter, the cooler works already.
I was about to say, I've just seen some big metal rod hanging out the middle of the car.
No, it looks a bit strange with the stock interior, but it won't look strange when everything's all done.
No, mate. What you've got planned for this, anything's going to cut a place.
Yeah, and we've got some more stuff planned as well between us, which will be very cool.
Yeah, 100%.
Coming very soon. But yeah, I think we'll get this wheel fitted, and then the first interior mods for this car will be complete. Okay, we are all done. We're now joined with Nathan from AutoID, who's done some of the work. Mate, it looks awesome.
It looks lovely, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks really
It's a game changer. I just said to Luke, I was like, it feels like a bit like a BMW steering wheel.
It is, yeah, it actually is.
It feels lovely though.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to get out on it.
Shall I run you through what we've done?
Yeah,
so
please do.
basically, it's quite a simple job. I've done quite a few of these, so I jumped in to help Kai out because he's not done no wiring or nothing before on one of these. So you pretty much straight swap the steering wheel, transfer over all these little bits, and then there's just a live and a neutral, which tap into like the steering wheel buttons basically, just to give it power for the screen.
Cool.
But that's it really.
Yeah.
Nice and simple. Little thing plugs into the OBD and wirelessly transmits all the car's data over to this screen.
Sweet.
But we'll start up and show you.
Oh yeah, you see the
She's
lights?
alive. Yeah.
Awesome.
So you've got a lot of customization in this, which I'll run through now. So starting with RPM, kilometers, you can change that to mile an hour, which is what I don't really use too much. You just flick through with this button here, basically.
Okay.
The one on the left. Coolant temp, battery voltage. This is your engine load, so it's at 3% at the moment. And then here's your PSI for boost as well.
Cool. Yeah.
So it's quite nice. See if you've got a boost leak or anything like that. This is the one I use the most, which is air intake temps.
That's cool.
Super struggles with air intake temps, so I could see if what I was doing was improving it or making it worse.
Because you've got a similar system on your Super, right?
That's it, very similar. But we've got TPS, I'm not too sure what that does. That basically shows you if you've got any errors on the car. It won't tell you what the fault is, it'll just say you've got 69 errors or whatever. And yeah, that's basically it through the little settings. So to go into the menu to customize your settings, hold down the left one. And it will bring you up like a little customization menu where you can change the color of like your rev limiters and set where you want it to like flash and basically stuff like that. So we can go through the little menu now.
Oh, sweet.
I'll leave this to you, Luke, so you can have a little rough idea. But
I think I've got to go blue, haven't I?
Yeah, it's got to be blue.
Got to be blue.
I'll let you settle that up, but we'll jump in.
That's so
one
cool,
of these. 2 secs. So you can go on to, you see where it says like colour and stuff like that. Jump in with that.
You probably can't see most of this through the camera, but still.
Basically, you can set all the colours up and set where it limits and all stuff like that. So it's actually a pretty useful steering wheel. And it gives you a little bit more info than what you normally would get.
Very true. Yeah, that is very true. It's very true.
Yeah.
Awesome. I suppose that is kind of the first interior mods all done on the car.
Yeah. Love this shifter.
That's cool, isn't it?
So nice. I literally just drove this up the road. It's so nice to drive.
Yeah, it is cool. Really, really cool.
Sick.
Thank you again, buddy.
No worries, bro.
These shift lights are insane. They are mega. I don't know if you can see them from here, but basically as you climb the revs from 3,000 up to 7.5 where this car redlines, basically the lights show up. So at 3,000 you get one, and then I think at, I don't know, maybe 4.5 you get another, then 5.5 you get another, then 7.5 it all goes red and flashes at you like shift. Now hopefully at some point I'll be doing like a point of view style video where you can properly see what I see. From here you're not going to get a proper representation, but it's so cool. I mean, you can flick through the displays, intake air temperatures as well, so 48 degrees at the moment. You can see how much power you're using, the RPM, the speed. It is very cool. Very, very cool. And then of course you've got the fact that it is Alcantara as well, so it feels awesome. You've got this epic kind of blue stitching, which is going to match heavily to the rest of the interior, which you will be seeing very soon. But yeah, I am loving it. I mean, this mixed with the Cooler Works, which I've been living with for a little while now, it is awesome. It is really, really cool. Now, you can actually change the color of the lights, but I quite like it where it flashes green and then kind of goes yellow and then red when you really need to shift. It's so epic. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. It just adds like this extra bit of theatre to the car. Seeing all these lights like flashing at you in the face. Very, very cool. I absolutely love it. I cannot wait to get this thing back on a track where we can fully get to grips with both the Cooler Works and the LED wheel, because well, yeah, there's only so much you can really get an idea of things on the road. Now, a massive thank you does go to both Regal Autosport for the cooler works and also AutoID for the LED steering wheel. This video may seem like it's been fairly smooth sailing, but it's actually been filmed over the course of about 2 or 3 months, which is purely my fault, but we got there in the end. So a massive thank you to both of those guys for the support. As always, you can find all the relevant links down in the video description. But for me today, that is it. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Stay tuned for the interior build, by the way, for those of you that made it this far. I'm dropping the car off very, very soon. But yes, like I mentioned, that is it for me today. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, please do make sure you leave a like and make sure you subscribe for all the adventures still to come.